Hello, I am B. Mahadevan. I am a professor at Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. I've been here for 21 years. I am a production engineer from College of Engineering, Guindy, and then I did a master's in industrial management from IIT Madras and a PhD in manufacturing system design also at IIT Madras. There are a few areas in which I have been working. Broadly, 2-3 of them I would like to mention. The first area is supply chain, supply procurement in an era of internet-based procurement and things like that. The second area is one to do with service design, how do you design services? And the third area is about ancient Indian wisdom and its application to contemporary issues in management. I have an interest in Sanskrit. I was in the Central Sanskrit Board. I am also a trustee in some NGOs doing some social work. First of all, I would like to talk about my first area of research, which pertains to supply chain management issues, particularly in an era of internet-based electronic markets. Now, these internet-based electronic markets have opened up a couple of interesting issues for practice. The first issue is you can discover new vendors across the globe. That's one part which is making a difference. The second aspect is there is a very efficient way by which we can discover price. For instance, one can conduct a reverse auction and in about 90 minutes, we can locate a very efficient supplier. This is one part of the story. The second aspect which we are going through today is lots of firms are asking for a build-to-order supply chain. The reason for a build-to-order supply chain is customization, variety that is driving organizations. So if you put these two things together, the way we go about making decisions with respect to procurement changes. And what are those changes? The first issue is supply heterogeneity increases. Because today you can locate a supplier in one of the BRICS countries, you can locate a supplier in mainland Europe or in Detroit. And so they come with different cost structure, they come with different exposure to demand, they come with different investment in capacity. So it introduces a huge amount of heterogeneity. The second part is firms are increasingly trying to use electronic auction mechanisms to discover the price. Now if you need to procure through an electronic auction, particularly when you have suppliers spread all over the world, I think buyers face a couple of very interesting problems. The first question they ask is supply heterogeneity good? If it is good, how should I change my procurement practices? Do I have more suppliers enlisted for a procurement, or do I have less suppliers? Which type of heterogeneity is good? Is it capacity heterogeneity or cost heterogeneity or demand heterogeneity? This is one question buyers are asking. The second question is, how do you set up an auction? How do you design an auction? And what it means is how many suppliers are enlisted into the auction? How do you select the suppliers? How do you select how many suppliers should be awarded the contract? Do you split the contract equally or unequally? So there are quite a few questions of this kind, which I think modern procurement firms are engaged with. So this research addresses many of these questions. So this research has looked at all these for the last 7-8 years. A couple of us at IIM Bangalore have been doing this. There have been some interesting insights. For example, we have always shown that heterogeneity is good, and heterogeneity brings down prices, and it doesn't make sense to enlist too many suppliers. I think there is always a limit beyond which it does not make sense. So these kinds of interesting insights are part of this research, and this is an ongoing research. We are now looking at what would happen if capacity heterogeneity can influence perhaps the cost heterogeneity, and therefore in a very combined fashion what would really happen. These are some of the questions we are answering. I think some of our results are in agreement with some of the practices that we see. that has been of interest to the buyers.